Okay, hey guys. So, welcome back. Today I am tackling a project that has been on my mind since I built these beds. So, when we first built these raised, I'm not going to call them raised because they're not, log is maybe a better word, log garden beds that we just wanted something to contain the soil. A lot of our resources were very limited. So when we were doing some excavating at the back here of the property, as you can see, that was my neighbor. Anyways, when we were doing some excavating at the back of the property, we used some of the existing soil. Now I'm going to take a walk over there and I'm going to show you the kind of soil. So when we first started here, we were digging and clearing a lot of this. There were boulders and rocks everywhere, which was great, but a lot of it was just dumped from previous properties or whatever the previous owner was doing. So when we dug up some piles, there was a huge pile of like really rocky stuff, and then there was another pile that looked kind of decent. Still a lot of rocks in it, as you can see, but the soil itself is actually really good. It's really fertile. So I thought, you know what, instead of spending a bunch of money, so these were kind of like the piles of rocks, but they were so high, they were like maybe 10 feet tall, multiple piles. This is all that we have left, so I'm happy about it. But so as we were digging through the excavation piles, I thought to myself, I'm going to use some of the soil that we have. I'm going to lay cardboard down, and I'm going to put this soil on top, and I'm going to see what happens. Throw some seeds in and see what happens. So for these two garden beds at the front, this one and the other one on the other side of the arbor, I ended up putting a thin layer of the original soil that we had back there, and then I top dressed it with compost and manure and a couple of bags of the Zero Universal potting soil mix, and these plants have done really well. They're still growing, there's a lot going on, but these other three beds seem to have been stunted quite significantly. And upon inspection, I shall say, there was a lot of rocks, and the roots couldn't get down past those rocks. And I mean, I tried to use what I had, but after experimenting with it and seeing what's happening, I decided that I was going to sift through one of these beds. I won't do all three today because that's a lot, but I'm going to sift through what I can. I'm going to pull out a lot of the rocks, and then I'm going to top dress it with the rest of the manure and a bag of the compost, and then I'm going to plant into there, and I'm going to see if maybe that makes a difference, because no matter how much cardboard or weed barrier I put down, the grass is still growing through, and I am noticing that anywhere that I put that compost in between, that these beds are doing really well. So let me just show you. For example, this is the third bed in the middle of our garden here. These two beds are doing really well because I hardly used any of the original soil. And this bed here, as you can see, I started with that soil back there, and these plants really suffered. Like these are carrots, and from what I understand, these carrots probably won't even get very deep because the soil is so hard and there's so many rocks. Like, take a look at this. These are the size of the rocks that I'm talking about. I don't mind a few because it's good aeration, but this is like a lot. Okay, so it's not perfect, but it's good enough. I've taken like 5 buckets of rocks out of here. It's looking a lot smoother, and I think we can top dress and see how we go. I really want to plant courgettes, zucchini, peppers, and some other type of summer squash in here, but I really needed the roots to be able to penetrate, so I think that is good for now. So we'll get the compost on top. Okay, we are all done filling the bed, and it looks 100 times better. Just with that top dressing alone, I think that the soil will settle. I'm gonna water it in now. I'm gonna let it sit for about an hour to kind of settle the soil, and then we'll plant some seeds in it. Okay, so it rained a little bit, which is kind of good because now the soil is nicely moist. And I have a ton of seeds that I am just going to plug away, and I will show you when I'm done.